For the first time, I realized that all my successes were dependent on me. You're not destined to age like your
Yes.
parents, but you have the power through your mindset, through your actions to change how you age.
Hey, welcome to the I Am Pain-Free podcast. I'm your host, Rob Renee, and today we have an incredibly inspiring guest joining us. It's Dr. Gillian Lockitch. Dr. Gillian has an amazing story of back injury and overcoming the incredible loss of her husband and how she's emerged stronger than ever. Now she's dedicating her life to helping others do the same using cutting-edge technology and science called epigenetics. In today's episode, you'll learn how Dr. Gillian is helping people age gracefully, live vibrantly, and extend their health, which is obviously very important. Stay tuned and just look at the power of her mindset, nutrition, and holistic healing in shaping how you age. So if this episode isn't for you, share it with a friend or a loved one who you think this would be appropriate for. Dr. Gillian is amazing. Let's go. Hey, this is Rob Renee. Welcome back to another fun episode of the I Am Pain-Free podcast. I'm excited to have a really awesome guest today. We have Dr. Gillian Lockitch, and she's exciting. She's done amazing work, and I think has a great story that we all want to hear and listen. Dr. Gillian, really nice and a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm honored that you have asked me to be on your show.
Yeah, it's just really fun. I love to find people with diverse topics and backgrounds and things that I haven't learned a lot about, and I love learning from people. And you doing some great things. I would love just to, if you don't mind, give us a quick background of who you are and how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, so I'm Dr. Gillian Lockitch, as you mentioned. My background is that I had a 25-year career as a doubly qualified medical specialist in pediatrics and
Nice.
in medical biochemistry, mainly research into nutrition, metabolism, genetics, etc. And I spent a fair amount of time as department head at our academic Children's and Women's Hospital here in British Columbia as department head, first in biochemistry and then of the whole pathology and laboratory medicine. After a number of sort of catastrophic things occurred in my life, the death of my husband, and then my really severe back injury, which we can talk more about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I decided to take early retirement from medicine and really explore alternate ways of helping our bodies heal themselves without the use of drugs and things like
Awesome.
that. And
Awesome.
yeah, and then ironically, it ended up that from pediatrics, my focus turned to helping people at the other end of the age spectrum, in helping them age well. And basically, my goal is to help people understand that they have the power within their own bodies to age naturally and extend their health span. So live healthy until the end and then just go clunk.
That's amazing. That's so fun because, yeah, that's like what you said. You started off your career early on, you're working in pediatrics and with young children. But the nice thing is you had it sounds like a foundation in nutrition and how important it is what you put in your body fuels your body. And we live off of what we eat, right? I think the way that our society has just changed in the respect that we don't respect food near as much as we should. And we all are, and especially in the United States, I don't know if Canada is the same, but I was just reading some articles. 70% of our foods are ultra processed foods now in the US. And then you start looking at the manufacturers of those foods, and they've been designed not necessarily to give us the nutrition that we need. And so it's fascinating for me to just learn more about this. And so it sounds like you've gone down the path probably much deeper than I have, which is this is going to be a great conversation just because I really think it's important that we educate people on the importance of nutrition and health and how we can use just that to help you live longer and better, like you're helping now seniors. So this is going to be a fun conversation. Excited to have you here.
And I think there's an important point to pick up on what you mentioned, and hopefully we'll get a chance to talk about that. And that is the impressive power of those manufacturers of these ultra-processed foods to affect the research funding and the
Mm-hmm.
information that we are subjected to and that is shared constantly. So I think that's a really important topic to get to when we're talking about what do we really need to know and understand about how to age well.
Yeah, yeah, that's so important because what you're saying and what I'm interpreting is that these large companies, they have the funding to do research on things and the outcomes is always favorable to what they're looking for. That's really what's happening. I just read a book called Good Energy by Dr. Casey Means. I don't know if you've heard of that, but
No.
it, no, it's just an interesting one. She was on Tucker Carlson a few weeks ago, and she was an ex-Stanford educated surgeon, ear, nose, throat surgeon, and she realized that she's not helping people holistically. So she went back in and got her functional medicine degree and now wrote this amazing book about good energy. It all comes from the nutrients and stuff that we consume. And it's a great book. So I won't go into the super detail because we're here to talk about you. It's a thing I like about that, and it relates to this food manufacturer thing. Is her brother is a Harvard educated. He graduated from Harvard, and he went into the food industry. So he worked for these big companies, and then he, as her, saw the corruption in the food industry, and then he started doing research and finding that, oh my gosh, the scientists that they hired from these big food companies came from, guess where? The tobacco industry, right? Which was really
Fascinating.
intriguing. And then he found out a lot of the research that they do is to help these foods not necessarily be more nutrition effective for us, but to be us more addicted to those foods. And so I thought that was really intriguing to see the corruption of how that's happening. I would love to try to get people to eat healthy and naturally and find food sources that are good for them. With your transition with your accident, I'm interested to hear what happened to you had two catastrophic events, and I'm so sorry to hear about your husband. But the second one was a back injuries. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I guess probably my whole back problems I attribute to when I was 17, I had a nasty fall off a horse.
Ouch.
And yeah, it was unusual because this horse was very big and I was very small. And they decided for some reason or other to show me how you could, I don't want to say jump, but trot over these logs. And
Okay.
somehow I just shot up into the air
Oh no.
and landed squarely on both legs. And that sort of jolted my spine. And after that, I ended up with recurrent episodes of lower back pain.
Oh,
And I did the physio. I was always into fitness and aerobic classes, but every now and then I would have these episodes where I just literally couldn't move from the pain.
no, no.
And so I approached it. I would take a couple of painkillers for a couple of days rest, which was the wrong thing to do. But I would start doing the back exercises and then be back to normal. And this went on literally for years, got worse when I was pregnant with each of my kids. And I would have these episodes that actually interfered occasionally with work as well. And then I retired and took up ballroom dancing, which is my
Oh,
passion and my fitness activity.
awesome.
And I started going on ballroom dance cruises and returning from one quite lengthy cruise where I'd been feeling pain down the right side of my body, but not enough to make me stop. I came home, went to a West Coast swing class, and where I really felt this bad pain down the right side of my body again, which is actually sciatica, and I didn't really think about it at that time. And came home and woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning in excruciating pain and literally unable to move without screaming with pain.
Oh no.
And yeah, so what happened was that sort of kicked off a 4 month period where I became a depressed, miserable, overweight couch potato, didn't want to see anyone. My whole image of being a positive, entrepreneurial type of person had changed. And this went on for 4 months. Nothing helped with the pain. I tried physio. I even tried acupuncture, which actually made things worse.
Oh no.
Yeah. And then eventually I managed to get an appointment with a neurologist who heard my symptoms, did an examination, and said to me, if you don't have emergency surgery within the next day or two, you're at risk of being permanently paralyzed.
Wow.
Immediately got me into an earlier appointment at the spine clinic, which I'd also been waiting for. And I was literally admitted to hospital. And then the next day they did emergency surgery. And I have metal implanted in my spine, which is why people call me the bionic dancing doc.
There you go. I love it.
Yeah. And so basically, what happened after that was I was discharged from hospital home after about 2 or 3 days. And I had previously been booked for a ballroom dance cruise from French Polynesia to Hawaii over the Christmas New Year timeframe. And that was sort of 10 months after my surgery. And I said to myself, I am going to be back on that dance floor.
Wow.
Yeah. And so mindset, of course, is incredibly important.
Right.
And so basically, I started my rehabilitation I was able to walk maybe for 5 minutes, and then the next day increased it to 10 minutes. And basically, until I was cleared by the spine surgeon to go back to starting dancing again. But while I was doing these walks, I had a lot of time to think and started thinking about what could I do to lose the excess weight and basically fix my mental attitude and my body so that I would be able to dance again. And that led me back to medicine,
Uh-huh.
which I'd left medical science because I was really concerned about the fact that we were so siloed. So you would have a specialist who is absolutely wonderful in managing liver disease or kidney disease or diabetes or something like that. And there was very little opportunity for physicians to look at the person as a whole.
Amen.
And once I had decided I was going to return to understanding medical science was when I came across all the advances that we had learned about epigenetics. And so that led me to understand that everything that we did, starting from what we think, the actions that we take, to what we eat, how we move, how we communicate with other people, how we challenge our brains and our bodies, all of that can contribute to enhancing our lifespan through the power of epigenetics. So that
That's
got me
awesome.
started on all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting that you went down that path. Then, since then, obviously, did you make the cruise? Did you,
I
did you,
absolutely did.
did you?
It was literally 10 months later. I flew to French Polynesia, hopped on the cruise ship, and sailed to
Were able
Hawaii.
to dance your way to Hawaii, huh?
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's a great story. And it's fun to see how you then decided to dig in, right, and learn all these new things about what's happening. So now that you understand the epigenetics, and how are you using that to, and what got you interested in helping the other generation versus the pediatric, kids? Was it just because of the people you were surrounded with in your ballroom dancing, or what got you thinking about how you're going to help people age gracefully?
That's interesting. That is one of the reasons I used to walk along the cruise ship things, and people would stop me and say, "Hey, you're one of those dancers. I wish I could dance. I'm too old." Da 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 da. Da.
Mm.
And that, any sentiment like that really bothered me. No, but what really happened was people started saying to me, "Jill, what did you do, or what have you been doing to rehabilitate yourself and to really seem younger than you were when that sort of accident happened?" And so that led me to write my book, Growing Older, Living Younger, The Science of Aging Gracefully and the Art of Retiring Comfortably.
Oh,
And
neat.
so I started really digging into the science behind what we knew about epigenetics and what was new in metabolism and all of that. And after literally a couple of years, I had hundreds of pages of science, and I thought, nobody's going to want to read this. And so that was when my daughter said to me, "Mom, just tell your story and weave the science in." And so that's what I ended up doing. And so the book was sent to the publishers just when COVID broke out.
Oh, wow.
And so really nothing happened. And a couple
I can
of,
imagine.
yeah, and a couple of, I guess, really a year into all of that, I happened to attend a networking meeting, and where somebody said to me, "If you're waiting for your book to appear, why don't you start a podcast?" And so like a month before I turned 76, I launched my podcast, which is Growing Older, Living Younger.
Oh,
And
cool.
coincidentally, the books arrived in my doorstep sort of a month before my 76th birthday. So now I had the books, but I also had the podcast, and the podcast has been a pleasure to do. And I'm going to be talking to you about your experiences in a later episode. So that's
Yeah.
how all of that came about. And during the course of my investigation of epigenetics and what I could do to age youthfully,
Right.
I discovered the company that I'm now affiliated with that has the most amazing products for aging well in wellness and beauty. It seems crazy at nearly 80, but I have these absolutely wonderful new businesses that just basically challenge me and keep me young.
That's exciting. I love that you're just energetic and you're just continuing to just foster. It's just really exciting to see that, and that you're not just retiring off into the sunset doing nothing. You're actually helping people. Just think of all the thousands of lives or hundreds of thousands of lives that you're able to affect just by you continuing, right, with that research you did and the book you've written and now the podcast that you're doing to just to help people is I commend you. So thank you for continuing to do that.
I have to say that, to be 100% honest, I have actually gained so much more than I've even been able to share, because I've had the opportunity of just meeting the most amazing people
Right.
and the works of life that I wouldn't have met before. Like, where would I have encountered you, for example?
That's
So I
right.
love that. Yeah.
Yeah, that is extra special, isn't it? That's really fun. So let's talk about the growing old, and what are the things that you do? Do you work with clients themselves, or how do you have a business that helps patients, or what are you specifically doing?
Okay, first of all, I have to make the disclaimer. I gave up my medical certification a long time ago, so I do not diagnose, treat, or prescribe for any medical condition. I just
Gotcha.
don't want to get into any trouble with
Yeah,
our
no, none of us want to get in
licensing
any
board,
trouble.
so I
I
don't do
second
that.
all of what she just said.
Right. So what I do is basically, up till now, I've really been talking one-on-one with clients because I've been introducing them largely to the products that can help both from a nutritional perspective and from a skincare. People always look at me and say, you don't look nearly 80. And I credit that to the wrinkle iron, which was the first product that actually got me involved in being an entrepreneur for the first time in my life. I look at it from the point of view of, yes, I had very senior positions in the hospital as lab director, and in the university, I was a full professor. But it was a job, right? A job I loved, but there was always somebody above me in the hierarchy. There were rules that I had to follow. And so when I became an entrepreneur, for the first time, I realized that all my successes were dependent on me, and I really loved that. So most of the time I've been working one-on-one with people to find out what their specific needs and issues are. And it ranges a lot, obviously, depending on whether it's man or woman, whether it's how old they are, and what their aging concerns are. And so I decided to transition from one-on-one, because there's only so many hours in the day, to setting up online group coaching programs. And so I have this concept of the Change Your Aging master plan cycle, which is basically continues over the course of a year. And in the first third, we're really looking at mind and brain. In the second third, we're looking at everything to do with the physical body. And then in the third part of the cycle, we're looking at how do you survive in your environment, and extend environment from the physical environment to changes in your interior environment, and also the information environment. I was actually planning to launch my first 5-week online program, and then I realized that I was probably not addressing the top of mind problem in a way that people could understand. So I've gone back to doing a survey to see what are the words that people use to express their concerns. So the program that is due to start next week, actually, it's called Memory Boosting Mastery, Say Goodbye to Senior Moments, because I heard from so many people that their primary aging concern is that they would lose their mind.
Oh, interesting.
People are really concerned about dementia, and yet know very little about what we used to call age-related mental decline. I think there are other terms for it now. So that was how I proposed to transition from one-on-one to group coaching.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, so I've actually sent out a message on my Facebook and by email to ask people if they're willing to participate in a survey, just to really, for me to get a handle on what are their primary aging concerns.
Yeah, that's really smart. That's really smart,
Yeah,
because then you can tailor your programs based upon what people really need versus what you think they need, right?
exactly what I think they should absolutely do. Yeah.
Right. That's amazing.
So I'm having fun.
Yeah, it
That's the
sounds like
most
you're having a
important thing.
blast, which is
Yeah.
really neat, right? So you're not just ballroom dancing every day, doing and sitting on the couch. You're actually having fun trying to figure out ways to help people and living the entrepreneurial journey, which is exciting. I love it. Anything else you'd like to share with our community?
No, if I always say, what are their key messages? And the key message that I would like to share is you're not destined to age like your
Yes.
parents did or like your grandparents did, but you have the power through your mindset, through your actions, to change how you age, to make sure that you can extend what we call your health span, which is not making you just live longer, but live longer in a healthy fashion. So that to me would be the key thing. People have to understand and believe that they have their personal power to make a change that's meaningful in their lives.
Yes, amen. Amen. I love that. And I think a lot of people are going to be attracted to your message and attracted to you. And I have just to pray for great success for your programs coming in a week, you said, right?
Right.
So that's super exciting. Just what a pleasure to meet you. And I really appreciate it. What's the best way for people to find you?
I'll just give you my email, which
Okay.
is just Gillian, and then it's Ask Dr. Jill. That's AskDrGil@gmail.com.
Perfect.
I also have a website, which is askdrjill.com. And then my podcast, I give links there, and it's
Okay.
called Growing Older, Living Younger, just like my
Perfect.
book.
Perfect. Well, we'll make sure that we have your contact information and all those links that you just mentioned in the show notes. But we really appreciate you taking the time. What a pleasure to meet you. And your story is fascinating. I love the fact that you overcame those huge hurdles that were big parts of your life. And now you're energetic and how many years young are you again?
I'll be 80 next year.
Yeah, so you're 79 years old and you're just
79.
having a blast of doing an entrepreneurial journey and you're continuing to help people. So that's what I want to encourage people, right? There are a lot of people that get in their 50s and 60s and think that, geez, the only thing left is retirement and doing nothing. And look at this amazing example of Dr. Gillian. So just you follow her example and just be a light to the world that only you can be. He made us all individually. And just thank you so much for being you, Dr. Gillian.
And thank you so much for having me on your show. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Yeah, you as well. So I look forward to chatting with you again soon. With that, signing off from the I Am Pain-Free podcast. As many of you know, my focus at the I Am Pain-Free podcast is help as many people get pain-free as possible. And we strive to use all natural and alternative therapies to accomplish that goal. Well, today I'm thrilled to introduce to you a revolutionary product that aligns perfectly with our mission of natural health and well-being. It's called Exodus by Exodus Strong. At Exodus Strong, their mission is to help you break free from the grip of big pharma and embrace natural solutions that promote vibrant health. With a foundation rooted in the wisdom of the Bible, the all-natural supplement harnesses the power of 7 key ingredients specifically mentioned in the scriptures. The flagship product Exodus is designed to be transformational, providing benefits such as energy enhancement, stress relief, blood sugar stabilization, pain relief, and anti-inflammation. So join the movement, right, to help them get 1 million new people to read the Bible every day and transform their health naturally. When you purchase Exodus, use code IAPF at checkout to receive a special free gift with your order. It's time to exit the old you and step into a new chapter of vitality and well-being. To get there, you go to exodusstrong.com. So it's Exodus, EXODUS, and check out and use that IAPF for the I Am Pain-Free podcast. And then you'll experience the benefits of the Exodus mineral blend. This mineral blend is amazing. It's got the molecular hydrogen generating formula that's backed by hundreds of scientific studies. So begin your journey feeling great and looking great. Don't miss the opportunity to take control of your health with the all natural way. So go check it out. I think you'll really enjoy it.